So I closed my eyes just for a second, and when I say a second, probably for about 20 minutes, as I was watching TV and Heidi's working tonight. And I looked over at the camera. This is one of our security cameras. I'm like, wow, it snowed. You know, the wind's been blowing all day, and holy cow, it really looks like snow. And that's not the case at all. It's just dark out, and the camera had flipped on the light monitoring to where it's dark. Thank God I was going to have fits if that's actually the case. It is pretty windy though. We're gonna have gusts up to 50 miles an hour, so we'll see what happens here.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. Hey YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream. What you doing? And we're gonna give you a quick update on the things that's happening with us, at least in the last few, I don't know, days. The temperatures have dropped considerably.
Chilly.
We're sitting over here because we have the slide in on the RV. And I know a lot of you are going to say, don't sit on the slides. We haven't seen any problems. I've actually taken a look at the slide and got on it. I don't see any movement or anything with the walls, so I don't see any signs of any of that. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could happen, but there's not much of a lip. There's only a little tiny lip on this floor. So once you get on it, it's hardly anything going on here. So anyways, we have the slide in, and you'll see here what we were experiencing just prior to putting the slides in, and then something that happened a couple days. So we had some wind, and then we had some cold, so I'll show you that clip now. Well, the temperature is definitely dropping considerably, and the wind is gusting considerably. I am shocked at how much the temperature has dropped just in the last hour. We were at about 66 degrees, and we're definitely in the 40s right now. I'm gonna come out here and turn this around. I don't think it's gonna make much difference with the way the wind is blowing today, but we'll give it every chance that we can. There we go. Yeah, we'll see how that does. And I know this wind buffer is not going to do a good job, but I thought I'd show you guys anyways, or let you at least listen to it. Yeah, we've got some strong wind. You can see bingo going on up the hill there with all those lights maybe. But yeah, this is some crazy wind gust. The street lights are bouncing around a little bit, and the wind's changing direction. Woo! Okay, time to get in. See, we had the wind that had come through actually blew a tree down across the street, but I think the tree was rotted at the bottom.
It looked like it whenever I drove by.
They only planted those not that long ago, probably
5 years.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty strong winds, so we wanted to have the slides in just in case. As far as an update on the truck cap, guess what? It's leaking again. And it's leaking from all kinds of places. I have no idea where it's leaking. We'll go ahead and let the shop take care of it. They're really good about that. They want to take care of it just as much as I want to get it taken care of. And he told me clearly, he says, if you have any problems at all, you know, let us know. Let us know what's happening. Let us know what's going on. Well, you know, I'll give them a call and schedule a time for them to get in, and you know, or I can take it in to where they can take a look at it again, because they adjusted the rear window to where it's perfect as far as opening and closing. And he said, I don't know who adjusted it initially, he says, but they had it way off. Well, I think it might have rained potentially in the back window now. Even though the seal looks like the bulb is being compressed. Again, that's something we got to deal with. I'll tell you what the results are. Maybe we'll shoot some video of that whenever I go do it. Maybe not. It depends on how much entertainment value I think that's going to have. Our son's still at the sugar beet harvest. He's been asked to work with one of the farms.
Another farm?
Yeah, another farm. So they're going to keep him on for a couple more weeks. He's willing to help out, and they basically said, "Hey, we need your help," and he's like, "Okay." Even though the temperatures are getting really cold up there, I mean, it's getting into the teens at night. So good thing that van's insulated as well as it is. We got a fly flying around in here. It seen me grab my hat. It ran. So the other thing we wanted to update you on is what we've talked about. We had it on our Facebook page. I talked about it briefly on a Facebook video post that I did. And that was the case of the New Hampshire couple that were missing from their RV. And unfortunately, the sad news is, they found that those bodies that were buried in the location in which they were camping. I mean, this has got to be striking a chord with you guys. Everybody that goes camping, just think about that. Where you're camping at could be where you're buried at. Your life ends. That's sad. So, anyways, they were found in a common grave. Yeah, unfortunately, they identified them, and I don't know. It's sad because that's an area, like I mentioned on Facebook, that we were thinking about going to. We were thinking about going and actually going to that area on that beach. I wanted to camp on the beach. It was so remote. It was nice. It's free. And then this happens. Now I'm thinking I don't want to be anywhere near that, and I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. We could just relate. They weren't that far off in our, as far as our ages. They were doing the same thing, everybody plans on doing, is traveling around, seeing the country. And like I said, that happened. So sad. But hopefully something's found, and hopefully justice happens then. Also, Heidi and I was out shopping down in Salem. We ran into one of our YouTube subscribers, and they also have a channel, Cummins Camping. That was nice. We talked to them for a long time. We were in Walmart just hanging out at the Walmart. Hope you guys found, I can't say, just in case your kids are watching. We won't say what we hope you found. But anyways, that was really good to meet them.
It's pretty cool.
It's always fun to meet YouTubers, and subscribers. We always get Facebook messages and comments and stuff on some of our stuff that we've got going on, and people sharing stuff with us all the time. And we have a YouTuber, Chris Vargo, who is got a YouTube channel. It's Addicted to Adventures. If you guys want to check that out, he's got what he calls Trailer Trash Chronicles. And he had an issue with his hitch, and it's really interesting. One of the issues he had with his hitch is kind of one of the things that I researched on, and I kind of wanted to get away from going that route. And that was just one reason. It just so happened something happened, in his case, but most of them are okay. It's just one of those things. It happens. Our hitch could have a flaw in it, and we don't know it, or it already broke and we don't know it, or
could fall
off. Same thing. I mean, crap happens. It definitely does. So as the temperatures are getting colder, I think, unfortunately, in a couple of days here, we're going to have to winterize the rig. Yeah, winterize the rig. So what happened was I shot clips after I shot this video. So we're going to go check out the winterization that I have done so far. Matter of fact, today I have to go finish out winterization. And anyways, I want to put in this clip that I've already captured because I'm sure a lot of you are winterizing, and I hate this. I knew I was going to hate it, so let me just show you the clip. As we're getting ready to hit some freezing temperatures tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and winterize the RV. I didn't want to, but I had to. Now, if you guys remember, whenever I first got this RV, I made mention about these anode rods that are in these hot water tanks. And it's only on certain models. Our old RV that had the water tank, that, as far as I could tell, was original. It didn't have an anode rod, but it could have been replaced. I don't know for sure, but all I know is that I did this cleaning process every year, and it worked out fine. But getting back to the anode rods, I told you that we have a problem with our water in this area with anode rods and causing the water to stink, causing it to where it puts off a gas, and it's not always pleasant. And even though we try to keep the water that we put in here, first of all, we never put our water from our house in here. The water that we used out at Friendship Acres, we were told that the water wasn't that great. Of course, this goes through a filter. We have water, a water filter that the entire RV, it's a whole RV filter. So it's not just for the sink or anything like that. It's for the entire RV. So whatever water comes into the RV, it goes into or through the filter and then into all the components. But just to give you an idea, this is what the anode rod looks like after 1 year. I mean, just 1 year of use. Now, here's my problem with that. Obviously, it needs replaced. We can't put it back in there again. Not this one. But I think what I'm going to end up doing the next time is, of course, we're going to run an anode rod one more time for 1 more year next camping season. And then I'll take a look at it. And if it looks like this, there's something that needs to be done. And I'll show you why I don't like anode rods. Another reason is because I don't think they do a good job of keeping whatever is attacking the metal on the metal. It causes more debris in the tank than if you would just let the attack, if you want to call it that, happen to the tank. Because again, I never seen this with our old RV. So I pulled out that anode rod and then I did my rinse, which I'll show you what I did. But look at all this stuff that came out of that tank, and I had to flush all this out. Not only that, but look at it all in here. I got to get all that out so I don't scratch the paint when this door goes open and closed, because it's like a hard calcium. All this stuff is just a hard, it's almost like a salt. I almost want to put it in my mouth and see what it tastes like, but I don't think that I will. So basically, I've been flushing this out. This is where the anode rod goes into. And again, if you guys aren't familiar with it, what the anode rod is meant to be is a sacrificial piece. Instead of all these contaminants attacking the tank, the water tank, to where the water tank springs a leak, instead it attacks that rod. But I think it just gives it something to attack. I think that a lot of these situations that you get into when you're camping, it don't necessarily want to attack the tank because the tank is made better than the rod. So I think it just causes problems. I mean, look at all this stuff. It just, I mean, that should speak for itself. If that anode rod was doing its job, why is there all this debris here? And I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, well, the reason that it's there is because it's allowing that rod to break off and fall into the tank as it's being attacked. That's fine, but it's kind of like putting a sacrificial windshield over top of the windshield of your truck. And what I mean by that is, so we don't want our windshield cracked. We don't want our windshield to get a rock chip in it. We don't want our windshield to be sprayed with sand, and we don't want it to, get damaged, basically. So what we could do is we could put a piece of plastic, polycarbonate plastic, that's over top of the windshield, that's not as strong as the windshield, but it's pretty close, and that way everything would attack that. Well, the problem is it would just scratch that much more easily because it's not made as good as the windshield. And now you have a piece of plastic's over your windshield that's all scratched up, and you can't see through it. It doesn't shed the water like it should be, and it's just not good. To where the same thing I think happens with these tanks, with these anode rods. I think these anode rods, being that they're made to be sacrificial, they're being attacked, they're falling apart, they're doing the job of keeping the contaminants and the electrolysis and everything happening towards it, or it's not really electrolysis, but I'll just use that term. It's basically, the fact that there's dissimilar metal going on, and you have water and you have electricity, you have your heating source in there. Everything is kind of going after that rod instead of the heating element. Well, I don't think the heating element would get attacked as bad as that rod. And I don't think the tank would get attacked as bad as that rod. So I'm just sticking something in there that's getting attacked and falling apart, causing all this crap to go on in the tank. So at some point in the future, what we'll do is we'll pull out the electrical heat element, and we'll take a look at it, which it's pretty simple to do, and we'll see what that looks like. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to give this anode rod one more year and then see what it looks like next season. If I have to winterize, maybe I won't have to winterize. I'd still take a look at it, though. You need to take a look at that. And yeah, if it's looking like this, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to run it anymore. I'll let the components get attacked because, again, our old RV had an electrical element to where it could run off of propane or electricity, just like this one does. And that tank never put out any kind of corrosion like this. Now, when we first got it, the hot water tank element was shot. It was just totally shot. But I pulled it out, put a new one in, and we never had a problem after that. And every time I cleaned it, I never seen this kind of debris. So we'll take that for what it's worth. Okay, I'm sure you guys are going to ask. I forgot all about this. I did talk about this a few years back, but basically all this is, I made this when we first got our RV. Basically all this is a washer hose, an old washer inlet hose for a washing machine in the basement that we replaced with some steel braided stuff. And I cut off the end, and then I just clamped on a brake line. This is a flexible brake line or fuel line that you get at a parts store. I have them just laying around. And I just put a bend on it on the end, and then I put a shut-off valve with a fitting on it, or it's a regular garden hose shut-off valve that you can buy at the hardware store. So what you do is you go to the hardware store and you buy a shut-off valve for a garden hose that screws onto a garden hose, and then you buy one of those washer fluid hoses, or I'm sorry, washing machine inlet hoses, and then like I said, just some brake line. And this thing works really well for getting in there, and I'm able to point out in different areas. I'm going to see if I can turn it on. You can see what kind of, we got pretty good water pressure here, but the fact that I'm putting it down through this little nozzle really makes it squirt pretty well. So put it on. You can see here, it goes quite a ways. I don't know if I can reach the ditch. Pretty close, pretty darn close. I think the wind's helping me. Yeah, I'm in the ditch now. So yeah. It works. It does a good job. And like I said, this shut-off valve here, it's just so I can control it with the thumb. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you want to have if you want to flush out your hot water tank. Makes it easier. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my air gun and I'm going to blow out in there to get a lot of that water out of there. My air gun that I have is a real long gun that has a kind of a kink to it. So anyways, I'll blow out most of the water just because I don't want it standing in there. It doesn't really make a difference. What I do then on even our old RV, I would pull out the drain valve, or in this case, I'm pulling out the anode rod, and then I just leave it open all winter. I don't put anything back in there. I leave it all open. That way, if it does freeze and there's water in there, there's nothing to keep it from expanding as far as it wants to go, and it won't crack anything. So it's just the way I do it. Okay, let me get back to work. Now, again, I talked about this in the past, and you can buy these. It just so happens I always have a lot of fittings laying around. Now, I think I did have to buy the big fitting, but other than that, I had all these smaller fittings. And I will blow out my air lines. I'll blow out all the water that's in the system, and then I will put antifreeze in. I know a lot of people just blow out the air lines and say that's good. They don't have to put antifreeze in it. And I believe that. I don't have a problem with that. I just like redundancy. I don't know if I necessarily need it, because the thing is all it takes is just a single drop of water to be in a thread or in a fitting or in a faucet shut off or in a valve. And once it freezes, it'll expand and crack it. So I would rather have something in there that's not going to freeze. Or at least not freeze until it gets really cold, a lot colder than it gets here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the air hose. And of course, your air pressure needs to be really low. Don't be putting 150 pounds of pressure in your lines. You'll blow all your lines apart, and faucets and everything else. Just really, really low. So basically what I do is just hook up the air hose to this, instead of, this is an air tool fitting, end. So just hook up the air hose to that, have it set on like, I don't know, 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds at the absolute most of air, and then go in and slowly open faucets, turn on faucets and slowly get all the air out individually from all the lines. I do have the tank bypassed as far as the inlet to the tank. I've drained my freshwater tank, and of course the other tanks are empty, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do have to remove this filter, and then I will put this back on. It's kind of odd. I'm a little bit shocked that the filter does not have a bypass on it. I thought for sure there would be a bypass so the water would not go into the filter. Well, I'm going to remove the filter and at that point let the antifreeze fill up in here. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. I just don't want it in the filter. It's not like I'm going to reuse the filter. We have another water filter right here. Oh no, that's a different one. That's for the inlet. But yeah, we're going to yeah, go ahead and pull that out and start running the antifreeze through it. But I hate this. I'm so depressed. So you can see what the deal was there. I wasn't so happy about that, but it's getting the job done. Let's go ahead and go back to the video, because we're going to be into the 20s, the mid-20s at night for a couple of days. And, during the daytime, it gets pretty warm. And when I say warm, I mean it's going to be in the 40s, maybe upper 30s. But, that nighttime low, it's enough to make it freeze overnight, I'm sure. So, I don't know what that means for us going camping. We've done it before when the rig's been winterized with the old RV.
West Branch.
Going to West Branch and just utilizing, of course, just the electric, and then, no water or anything like that. So that kind of sucks, but we could. Or maybe Ideal Quitter John will go to Florida, and that probably won't happen. I'll just say that already. So, what else? Oh, the other thing that we pointed out on Facebook, and I think I might have mentioned it on a video, I'm not sure, but I definitely want to cover that. Oh, we did cover it on a live stream, a really long live stream. We had people asking, so we do have apparel if you guys want to check that out. The link's going to be in the description. Just go down and it says something about RVDaydream gear or something like that. And that link, click it and shop. And if there's something you like, great. If not, you can just take a peek.
And if there's something that maybe you want to see on there, I might be able to make it happen.
Right, Sully had already said something about the shirts. I know exactly what he was talking about and what he wants, and I don't know. We might be able to accommodate. We'll have to see. I don't know for sure. We have to get our daughter involved, and that's kind of a task.
She's expensive.
Yeah, she's really busy, and like she said, she's pretty expensive whenever we get those designs done by her. But she does a good job, and she knows exactly what we want. So maybe you pay, get what you pay for. So I think that catches us up on everything that I can think of, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So as far as an update, RV Daydream, what you doing? That's what we're doing. So as always,
hope to see you out there. Bye.
Bye.